everybody, Lego Mega 961 here with another video. And welcome back to another installment of American Civil War Month. For my past several videos now, I've talked about a famous battle in Pennsylvania, a legendary Confederate general, and the famous Black Regiment of the Union Army. Now, let's talk about a prison camp, the most notorious prison camp of all time, located in the state of Georgia. The name of the place is Andersonville. Directed by John Frankenheimer, Andersonville tells the story of the most notorious prison camp in Georgia. And believe it or not, this movie is loosely based on the diary by John Ransom, a Union soldier who was imprisoned at Andersonville. This is the story that I got, and without a doubt, it is awesome. I've actually read this, and it literally tears my heart to actually read his account of what he experienced in Andersonville. And it's just sad. And I also have the movie too. And the movie really captures that moment. Frankenheimer has done a wonderful job with this movie. And not only that, they got some celebrities that we don't even know, in fact, some we even know, to direct this to make this movie. They got Gerard Emick to play Corporal Josiah Day, Frederick Forrest to play First Sergeant James Dudley McSpadden, Ted Murcox as Martin Blackburn, a corporal. And yes, Martin Blackburn is real. Well, if you look it up on National Park Service, his Andersonville prison in the cemetery, he is buried there. It also has Cliff D. Young, the same guy who was Colonel Montgomery in the movie Glory, which I reviewed. And it also has William H. Macy as Colonel Chandler. And without a doubt, these guys nailed it. They really captured that moment. Oh, and let's not forget the actor who did a wonderful job in playing Captain Wirtz. Really captures that moment. Now, here's a story on Captain Wirtz. Captain Wirtz was actually a soldier in the Confederate Army. And yes, this guy was real. Born in Switzerland and moved to the United States, Captain Wirtz joined the Confederate Army in 1861. He was part of a Louisiana battalion, and he was shot at the Battle of Seven Pine. Due to his actions, he was promoted to the rank of captain. And he was assigned to General John H. Winder. John H. Winder was a Confederate general who was in charge of all the prison camps in the South. But somehow, near the end of the war, General Winder is dead. He checked out. So Wirtz was in charge of Andersonville, a military prison camp stationed near a small railroad depot named Anderson in southwestern Georgia. And yes, when I saw this movie, it was when you go inside and you see these men who were starving, who has no clothes on, they were dirty, hungry. I mean, the shot is pretty good too, and I loved it. And the scene that I love in that movie most of all, it would have to be the fight scene. Without a doubt, Union troops fighting against one another. Now, the group that the Union soldiers were fighting is a Union group known as the Raiders. And no, not the football team Raiders, the Raiders. Now, the Raiders were a band of Union thieves who stole from their comrades, like leather goods, jackets, shirts, shoes, whatever. And believe it or not, in this movie, they worked alongside Confederate guards. Traitors. And in the movie, Dick Potter, and yes, that is his name, tells Corporal Josiah Day and his comrades about the Raiders. That they trade whiskey, food, rations, and whatever they need, the Confederate guards give it to them. Soldiers from the 2nd Vermont was in there. The Raiders took their coats, shoes, blankets, and a bunch of other rations. It was brutal. And as the movie progresses, we can actually see the conditions of Andersonville becoming worse. I mean, this was during 1864. Grant was battling Lee up north. Sherman is leading his famous March to the Sea. There was a presidential election going on in 1864. And pretty much, Sherman's army was moving away from Andersonville. And Andersonville was inland. So the army was headed the other way around. And that scene there when the Union prisoners were leaving Andersonville, it was sad. Because these guys, they were in there for God knows how long. The Wirtz has put those guys in terrible conditions. I mean, I know Wirtz said he was following orders, but he wasn't following orders. He was killing these men. These innocent boys and men who enlisted, who joined the fight. And many of those guys, they didn't come back. And here's another fact, though. In November 1865, Wirtz was hanged for war crimes. Yes, a trial was held and Wirtz was found guilty. And yes, I have seen the movie The Andersonville Trial by William Shatner. And to be honest, I love that movie too. That really captures on what happened after the war and after Andersonville. And I have to admit, the movie and the setting which Andersonville was built was really fascinating. I love it. In fact, here are some goofs in the movie that I saw. During the Raider night attack, when Dick Potter was facing off some of the Raiders, we can see shadows of the studio equipment. And here's another goof. Remember that one scene when the Union troops were charging towards the Raiders' line? The one scene when the camera zooms in, not zooms in, like pans this way? If you look at another shot, we can see a camera coming towards us. And during the fight scene, we can actually see a steel ladder in the middle of the fight. And one final goof that I saw was just before Grundy was shot. If you look closely, just between the wall of the prison camp, we can see a truck, an actual truck from the 1990s. I am being legit serious. If you look closely, you can clearly see a truck. 4 goofs. 4 freaking goobs I found in that movie. And I have to admit, what Limber Jim, that guy was amazing. Just to hear him yell, "Who?" is really cool. That should be a meme. But without a doubt, though, this is a really cool movie, and I highly recommend you watch it. And that's it for this video. And if you like what you see, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, this is Lego Maker 961 signing off. And Civil War Month continues.